Hi, my name is Craig BIERKO, and I am on the fabulous Barry Z's show. So exciting. How long was I out? No, I'm not. I can't make fun of you like that, huh?
No,
Let me try again.
You can, but the other one is we're celebrating the holidays together.
Okay. Hey, my name is Craig BIERKO, and I am celebrating the holidays with Barry Z. Who's the fortunate son? That's me. What else do you want me to say? I'm just so excited to be here and eager to get this man out of my home.
And Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Say when.
When? Go ahead, start.
Happy holidays and welcome back to the Barry Z Show. Tonight we have a great new show with a great new guest, superstar Craig BIERKO. Wow.
Thank you. How'd you get him?
I don't know. I just walked into T-Mobile looking to pay a bill, and there you were there.
You know I'm not even a client.
With your dog.
That's right. My dog, Boo. Look down. Look, go south.
Yeah. Oh.
There she is. You've made a friend.
Why were you there?
Every time I go and get coffee and sit somewhere, I'm big on Twitter. I like to be on Twitter a lot. I don't mean I'm big on it. I mean I'm big on, like, I like to do it.
You used to be big.
No. I mean,
You used to weigh a lot.
I'm still tall. Yeah, and well, you did. I did. I weighed about 50 pounds more. But
How did you lose it?
enjoy. Please, only one of us can do the ADD at the time. Let me do it first. So I was at there because I had just come from a coffee place, and every time I go to get like a Starbucks, I put the address of the Starbucks I'm at, and I'm saying if anybody needs sunglasses or earphones for an iPhone, I'm at the Starbucks on 59th. There we go. Because I inevitably leave them there. And so I'm always buying, new earphones, and I've stopped buying very expensive ones. I have a nice set of expensive ones. My rule is I really don't take them out of the house.
So how did you end up at T-Mobile?
Well, I was walking by there, and even though I'm not T-Mobile, which I hear is very good, I'm on AT&T because I heard it was very bad. Not from them, because the call wouldn't go through for them to warn me that they were very, very bad. But I'm on AT&T, and they sell this. They'll sell you an earphone is an earphone, or whatever. A headphone is a headphone. I can't get what. This doesn't seem a good place for my arm, does it? I don't want to go.
Are you doing hand puppet now?
I don't know.
Hand modeling?
I don't know if that's a term.
Did you ever do hand modeling?
No, I don't. I don't think I have very attractive hands. I mean, I don't have ugly hands, but I don't have beautiful hands.
I see.
I think my nails are all the way around a little small. And I had I can't foot model because when I was an infant, both nails on my big toes had severe.
But you have big thumbs.
Had severe hangnails, and now I have tiny little nails on my big toes, so they look like little spacemen.
That's cool.
It is kind of cool.
See, the Martians did land.
The what?
The Martians?
The Martians.
They landed on your toe.
They landed on my toe.
Yeah. Anyway, you have big thumbs. You know what that means?
Oh, yeah. I got big isotoners, right?
That you're a big man.
Yeah. I don't think that specifically has anything to do with your wiener, does it?
Yes, it does.
Can I say has to do with on cable? Okay.
It's a fallacy, right?
I don't know what that is or who's. I don't want to get into the Bible.
I can call some of your ex-girlfriends and find out if it's true or not.
No, you're not going to be a bad boy, and because I'll have to throw you out. I'll get Big Julie in here and throw you out.
Well, let me tell you something. I am so lucky to run into this man who I go back and interviewed about, 10 years ago when you were in The Music Man?
I was 15. Go ahead.
But 15 years ago when you were in The Music Man on Broadway.
Yeah. That was a time of my life. It really was it was a great blessing because, well, first of all, The Music Man, honestly, as objectively as I can be, but I've thought this since I was a kid. It's the best American musical. I would say that and Guys and Dolls. They're the best, most solidly written and constructed, emotionally satisfying, and universally performable musicals, which means that you can go to a high school and see a competent performance and walk out of there and feel dazzled. As a matter of fact, Kate Jennings Grant, who played Sarah across from My Sky, had made a promise to a girl who lived in New Jersey, and she said, I just promised this girl in New Jersey I would go see their Guys and Dolls. She's a great girl, so she did it. Wow. She came back, and I said, how was it? And she said, better. They're better than we are. And I said, why? Well, we
came here to New York and you started it.
No, we were already up and running. And this was the kind of...
Was it in Paper Mill?
No, it was here on Broadway. We did a Broadway revival, and that's how the people don't know it. We did it about 4 or 5 years ago, and it wasn't good. It wasn't well received, nor should it have been. It was overly produced, and it was. He's a very talented director, Des McAnuff, but the cast. I noticed it was one of the first things I ever did as a kid. I wasn't in it, but I saw my community theater.
It was only 5 years ago you did it.
It was only about 5 years ago. And
I covered it. I know that.
Oh, okay. Well, I played Sky, and Ollie North. Oliver Platt played, and Laura Graham played Adelaide, and
who did Donald Trump play?
Donald Trump played the people who didn't come.
There we go.
I can't imagine he came. But
You're a great stand-up comedian.
I'm not a stand-up comedian, but I revere stand-up comedians. As a matter of fact, I never really performed it per se. I got up a few times because I used to go out with Janine Garofalo, who is an excellent stand-up comedian. She's absolutely terrific.
Again, in the mic, we love her.
We is very impressed with her, always have been, and she said you should be getting up and doing this. And I've always admired them, and she said if it's only fear holding you back, do it. This was during...
Were you in the same movie with her, The Truth About Cats and Dogs?
No, I've never seen it. But you got to the bottom of the truth about cats and dogs?
Yeah.
I've got to get into that with you later, because I'd love to find out what that truth is. A lot of it's just speculation.
We'll have to get a cat. We have the dog.
I got the dog, yeah. I'm cool right now. I've had a cat. I had a cat for 5 years.
Really? What happened? It scratched you?
No, the cat was given to me as a gift. The first TV show I ever did was a show called Sydney. It was Valerie Bertinelli and a young Matthew Perry.
Come on, baby.
What about Tony Randall? Was he in that? No.
No, you're thinking of Sydney. You're thinking of Love, Sydney. This was called Sydney, and Valerie Bertinelli played a detective, and Matthew Perry played her little brother, and I played her lawyer, lover, whatever. It was a mess. The thing was a mess, but it was really fun. And
Was it live?
it was a sitcom. It wasn't live, but I mean, we shot it in front of a live audience. At least they were live when we started.
Here in New York?
This was in Los Angeles. This was my first big gig.
You were a virgin.
No, I wasn't a virgin, but I hadn't done a sitcom before, and I was very excited. And I saw Matthew Perry, and I said, "This guy, like if you met like Jack Benny or something, he's got something that nobody else does."
You still keep in touch?
Yes, our birthdays are on the day. Mine is the day before his, so we at least
July 23rd?
no August 18th.
Oh, you're a Leo too, so am I.
Is that what's your birthday?
July 23rd.
That's not interesting. August 18th, and his is August 19th. And so I'll call him he'll call me on the 18th, I'll call him on the 19th, or leave a message, and because we're not as in great touches, but we used to go to lunch every single day, when we were out of work actors.
In Los Angeles.
In Los Angeles. And I remember meeting him and thinking...
Isn't everybody out of work there?
Well, if I'll tell you, there's no other city I can think of in the world where you see people walking out of movies at 11 o'clock in the morning going, I don't know what I'm going to do the rest of the day. That's it. It's grim. It's fun, but it's mostly grim. But it's, if you're going to be grim like that, it's a very specific lifestyle.
And you're not going to the bank on Friday.
Well, I did pretty well. So after a while, there was.
Well, you're gorgeous. Look at you. You're a hunk.
Can't look at me, and as many times as I've tried, I can't get a good look. But I would. And as a matter of fact, you ever pass the sign like going downstairs? They go, "Watch your head." How many times I've fallen over backwards trying to do that?
You know who gave you a good look the other day? Kelly Ripa. I saw you on Live with Kelly.
Oh, what did she do? You mean that
You a good look.
she shot me well? You mean? Or what? She gave me a good look, like.
Yeah.
No, I made out with her husband in a show. Did you hear about
I
that?
heard about that. Tell me about that.
Hilarious.
Are you gay for pay?
No. I've played gay in a college play which involved a kiss, and I played gay in what was called the gay marriage plays. And everybody on stage was straight, which was, I guess, the idea of it was we want to normalize this and make this. It was never planned. Nobody ever said we're only going after. I mean, if somebody was gay, had gotten the part, that probably would have
Are
happened.
you a top or a bottom?
I don't know what those terms mean, sir. I don't. Bunk beds? You mean in terms of bunk beds? I have a fear of heights, so I would imagine. Is bottom bad? It sounds like it'd be bad. It doesn't say. Can I be honest with you? I love people, regardless of their skin or what they like to get into, what area, dorsal or otherwise. It doesn't matter to me. We're all hot bags of stew with a dermal envelope.
I love that.
And you're either sourdough white, you're pumpernickel, you're what. That's all we are. And the fact that there are still morons who think any other way is why we're in the shit right now with a guy. I'll just say his name rhymes with hump, and we've been duped. I really do think we've been duped because already. We're shooting this. He's president-elect. Hopefully, by the time it airs, someone will have moved some legal papers around and
pulled the plug.
Had a collective cup of coffee, and gone, "Holy shit! We almost ruined the whole thing." And someone, they will have done a recount. But as if things are going right now, we're going down the superhighway to becoming London, which is going to be the slow fall into. It's not going to be good. It's going to.
You could run. You'll get elected.
No, I would have no interest in doing that for the same reason that someone like Donald Trump shouldn't be doing it, because I don't know half of what I would need to know.
Well, he's not taking a $400,000 a year salary.
Oh, yeah, that's good. We're going to save $400,000. Meanwhile, we lost $13 trillion. Lost it. We don't know where it is.
You mean from him?
No. Don't you remember? I think that was the amount. I might be wrong with the amount. I'm not a political pundit, but the big things I know is that around 9/11, there was a big thing about, like, didn't Rumsfeld make an announcement like, "Listen, you're going to hear this in the news. I want to hear it from me first." We lost $3 trillion or something. It was 3 or 13. We'll find it. We'll find it. And then 9/11.
You know where that money is?
Where do you think?
In the printing shop.
The printing shop. What do you mean? Oh, you mean like what do you mean? I don't understand.
They can print more, can't they?
Well, that's the thing. Then you have this. The whole system is. Didn't we leave England to escape a system of a central bank? We go central bank, and they're making us a serf. This is kind of screwed up. I'm tell you what we'll do. We found out about this new place. It's new land, and you can take a chance. We'll sell you at a good rate. You got to buy the boat. There'll be some throw up.
Where is this land?
I won't lie to you. There are going to be some Indians. They won't be happy. And we're going to step on the beach, but just come with us and give it a try. So we come over here and we say we're in America now. Mm-hmm. And that was the first of the 37,000 times we lost our innocence. Was 13 seconds after we put our foot on the beach and someone said, "May I help you?" And we went, "Sure." Show us where your friends are, right? And there's blood all over the beach. And then we built up this magnificent country, and we were very kind. We offered them casinos. They can play some casinos, and as long as they're kind and don't get in the way of our pipelines, we won't spray them with freezing cold water in the middle of the winter or wound their knees. We're very good. We've been very fair. We'll make movies about Indians. They can't be in them, But it really is. We came here with one good intention, which was escape the central bank. The people, a country by the people for the, and then what did we do within? You'd have to go to all sorts of conspiracy theories, but the fact is, what was the genesis of it? Does it really work? There are all kinds of very intelligent arguments for you misunderstand the central bank or you misunderstand the Fed.
You understand it all, so you should be president.
No, I don't understand any of it. I don't understand. I seek out news sources because I very humbly feel like I'm irresponsible if I don't learn. But I find, then you also find conspiracy theories. Do you know the federal bank was, first of all, it's not a federal office. You know that. They just say federal. It's like, this is Dan Federal. We're naming it after him. It's Dan Federal's bank. And it's just private businessmen. And we make all the decisions because America's borrowed money from us, so now we have them under our thumb.
That's why I want you to be president of the United States.
My sitcom schedule won't allow for it. I can't.
Because you know everything about everything.
I come off that way.
About anything.
No, and I don't. I'd rather listen more than I talk. But this is a talk show, so I have to talk a little bit. But
let's be honest. You do know everything about everything.
I don't know anything about much. I know a little bit about a lot.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. And
that makes you president of the United States.
So boring. This is so boring. But everybody, especially now, who has an interest or whoever wants to be more than somebody who's suffering in this country, especially now, needs to understand. Go online. Go to boilingfrog.com. Boilingfrog.com and seek them out and type up Federal Reserve.
It sounds painful.
No, it's go to Boiling Frog. You know the story of the boiling frog. You don't kill a frog by grabbing him because he'll hop away. You put a frog in a nice cool thing of water and you turn it up to boil slowly, and he never knows he's being boiled. And that's the idea, is that you change things gradually. You start with FDR and you go through Carter. And then you go through Blum, and then by the time we get to President Trump, everybody's walking around like this, going, "It's a great free country, isn't it? Yes, I'm going to bed right now, sir." And they close it. We're all fine. But this is, we're there. If you think about what the difference between the country now and 1930s, who knows what was really going on? But our food is being poisoned. We've got a president that I can't believe a majority of these people have elected. I don't believe it. And wars that are started.
He got the electoral vote, right?
So they say. But you know what I've learned about somebody who, he hasn't been formally diagnosed, so it's unfair to say, and I'm not a shrink, but I have had my experience with out-and-out narcissists. This is a business, after all, where the major prerequisite is, wherever I am, I'd like everybody facing me, right? So there's narcissism, but narcissism, which I have, you have a personality to sell, it's a stock and trade, is, in reality, I'm actually I'm a tad shy, and I don't need, and I don't approach people.
You're the nicest person you could ever meet.
It's important to me to be nice, and I tell the truth.
The heart of gold.
I don't know that I have a heart of gold. I'm not a perfect person, and I can get very, very angry and incensed. What
do you think of this? You try to what?
I worked very hard when I was in Los Angeles because I grew up without a dad. But I don't recommend this to everybody, but for my case, it was necessary. But I also don't understand how anybody could go through the show business without someone to give them advice. It doesn't have to be a shrink, but somebody who has experience and can say.
You come from a show business family?
We did a lot of community theater, and I was around people who they were doctors and lawyers. These are people who loved theater so much that they come home and they do amateur theater. And so all of my associations with theater are very positive. And my mom ran the theater. So it was in the family.
This was where? L.A.?
No. I grew up in Rybrook, New York.
Oh, you're kidding.
I'm not kidding.
You're a Rybrook boy.
I'm a Rybrook boy, but it used to be just Rye. And then it turned to Rybrook because they incorporated, we were right next to Portchester, and we wanted to use their police and fire department, but we didn't want them to necessarily benefit from our taxes because we had PepsiCo and all these other. So why should we give you money just because you're saving our lives? It was the beginning of a really different, it was the 80s, and it was the beginning of a very weird time, I got
to just share this with you. As far as my association with Donald Trump goes, or I should say the president goes, yeah. Well, you said you wouldn't.
I can't. I haven't been able to say, and I'm going to see if. And it isn't out of disrespect. I guess it is out of disrespect. It's out of respect for the office. That I think this is the country, this is the illusion at least that we're living under. I don't know if we've ever had a president. You know, we had 13 presidents before Washington. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah. What do you I didn't know that either. That
I did not know that.
job itself. Well, remember the country was the size of the village essentially, right?
exactly.
But it was primarily a bureaucratic. It was paper shuffling. There wasn't a speech, and there were no dinners. And this isn't somebody you'd want to assassinate. It'd be somebody you'd avoid them because they're so boring. They're not doing it's at work. But then the president, within I guess the 13 terms had become. They wanted to make George Washington the king. They wanted to make him king. They said, king's probably not a great word for us right now. How about, we're building this thing called, we want to try democracy. So maybe if I was the president, and then any decision I make, it wasn't his idea, it was a committee, any decision that is made by the president has to be checked and double rechecked. Unlike, Donald Trump, who can just say, of course I'm lying, but what I'm going to, and I can't have anything to do with my businesses, but what I'm going to do is I'd like to get elected, and then I'll have everything to do with my businesses. But that's what you said that you wouldn't do. That's right.
Okay.
Next question. Punch him in the face, by the way. Not in a Hitlery way. Not in a Hitlery way. Well, give him a salad.
Anyway, I interviewed Donald J. Trump, at the opening night.
The cologne, was it like, did you get walloped by the cologne? I can imagine, like Aramis. What was it?
Aramis.
Was it Aramis?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, yeah, gee, what? Was it?
Yeah, I think it was. Anyway, so I interview him on the red carpet when he attended Marlon Maples' debut on Broadway in Will Rogers Follies.
With, was it with Mickey Rooney? Or was that with Cassavetes?
Anyway, so he comes down the red carpet, and I say, hi, Donald. And I had my hand, outreached there to shake his hand because that's the way I was raised. You always shake someone's hand the first time you meet him. And he said, what's wrong with you? I said, what? Are you talking to me? What's wrong with me? I pay my taxes. I'm a good boy. I talk nice to people. Yeah.
Yeah, right there you pissed him
He
off.
said, what's wrong with you? Didn't you do your research? I said, what research? I know how to shake someone's hand. How do you shake someone's hand? Up or down? He said, no. I'm germphobic. I don't shake anyone's hands. Didn't you do your research? Instead of coming at me with, an open hand.
I would have just, a soul kiss? What about a slow soul kiss?
That would have worked. Yeah.
What if I grab you by your vagina, sir? May I grab you by your vagina and yank you close?
So he wouldn't shake my hand. But anyway, we had a decent interview, and I left, and he left, and that was the end of it. But that's the closest I got to him.
I'm beginning to, I grew up.
But I have to hand it to him now. He's shaking some hands with money in it and kissing babies' asses.
He'll make
Now that he's president.
America great again.
Yeah, he will, won't he?
Yeah, because you know what? We were once ever great. We were once perfect. From the second here, we stepped onto the beach. Bloodshed, cheating, genocide. We are not. We might be getting some blowback right now. We might be getting some shit.
This is the man who created The Apprentice. How can you find fault with him?
He didn't have. I guarantee you, and I'm saying this with a total lack of knowledge, but I will bet you money that he had nothing to do with the idea. As a matter of fact, I will bet money that any of the ideas that he's had in any of his businesses were presentations that were bought to him. And he went, yeah, all right, we'll try it. Because if you look at Trump's steaks sold exclusively at a store that sells chairs and fans,
Now he's got Arnold Schwarzenegger.
7 casinos on the same street. So I'm making money and then taking it away from myself and then be surprised when I get into trouble. This is
Who's hosting it now? Huh? Who's hosting The Apprentice?
Is it Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yes, it is.
Well, he'll be a heartbeat away from the presidency.
Yeah, exactly. Ex-governor Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes, because as I can't say it, but
Say it.
The campaigner Trump, Citizen Trump says, you have to be born in this country, and I want to see some certificates. Why is he even letting this guy anywhere near a place? And interesting, I don't know anything about Arnold Schwarzenegger. I've never met him. I don't know anything about him. I don't believe what I read exclusively in the press. I check my sources, but hasn't he even admitted that like his father was a Nazi? That's an interesting tie to have. I know we don't know an awful lot about Obama's past, but I don't care if he was born in Africa. I don't care. I don't care if this guy's father was a Nazi, if he can show me that in his citizenship and as a governor, he's done only pro-American, because you should be able to redeem yourself. And the fact
Schwarzenegger now.
Yeah, and the fact is, if you're a fan of the space agency, you have to consider the fact that we would not have gone to the moon if we did go to the moon, but we would not have gone to the moon if it wasn't for Operation Paperclip, which took half of the guys on the Nuremberg trial and changed their identities. The CIA bought them here. You know about this. And placed them here as professors, university professors, gave them jobs at NASA. And do you remember the guy's name who sent the first rocket? He was Werner von Braun. Nazi, former Nazi. Unbelievable. Former Nazi, former Goldman Sachs, but now working exclusively on behalf for the, feminist movement for women and glass ceiling breaking. And people will buy anything.
So what you're telling me is that Mel Brooks is before his time, because he was the one who came up with "Springtime for Hitler" and Germany. No.
Mel Brooks is a genius, and there are writers who are. This man was born to write, and there's, if I may say so, I've met a few people like David Kelly, the great David Kelly, who writes Boston Legal and all the 100 other shows. The woman who writes. Created our shows, Sarah.
Yes, we're going to talk about yours.
That's right, Sarah Shapiro.
Mel Brooks' son was on my show.
Hold on a second. Yeah. Before your ADD, do you need an Adderall? You want to take a break? Okay. Let me just say this I'm on a show called Unreal. I play a character named Chet. It's on Lifetime. We'll be back soon. Please watch it.
Okay, guys, how about we make a TV show?
Are you ready to welcome this season's suitor, Darius Beck?
He's black, and you want him dating white girls.
Hopefully he's gonna be making deep, dark, nasty love to them too.
Let me make sure I got this right. I live here, and I'm on camera 24 hours a day?
Yeah. We don't solve problems, we make them and point cameras at them.
Her fiance died a year and a half ago.
Ask her, did you kill him?
Call the Emmys, baby! Money, dick, power, right?
Yes, money, dick, power.
I promised the network suicide ratings, and we need to deliver.
In the right situation, she could explode.
It's perfect. Put Brandy in the hole.
You can't lock me in here!
Going for the kill.
Yeah, I am so hard right now.
But the woman who created
Be a tall character.
Every character I play is exactly my height and wears shoes my size. It's remarkable. It's remarkable.
What size shoes do you wear?
13. You know what that means? Big thumbs. So, I noticed the first season. We're going into our third season. Both seasons, we're reflecting back exactly what was going on in my life. But oftentimes, I was playing the adversarial position of the person in my life that it was reflecting. Like
So this is a reality show.
No, it's not a reality show. It's based on the making of it takes place of it's a show like The Bachelor, but it's completely fictional, and it's like Larry Sanders in the sense, but it's not like funny like Larry Sanders. It's a little darker than that, and the woman who created it, Sarah Gertrude Shapiro, worked on The Bachelor. So knows a lot about how the show functioned, and that what they did is they would manipulate the contestants. You'd find out if somebody had an alcohol problem. You'd find out what buttons to push. They have an ex-husband. They have a secret past, and you'd throw it up in their face live on camera and force a situation. So it's kind of interesting to watch. Unreal is something I'm very proud of. It's really good.
Dirty words and nudity.
Dirty words. You know, it's cable. Well, you're not going to get any bush. But you'll get ass, you'll get boobie, you'll certainly get under and side boobie. You can put together a boobie. You know, if you grew up like I did watching Cinemax, you had to put those pictures together, right? You had to work really hard, and you had to work fast. But it is a very sexy show, and it's a very dark show. It's dark. And
It's on Lifetime.
yeah, Constance Zimmer is great, and Shiri Appleby, and Josh Kelly. And what do you want to do? You want to have anyone to offer? Oh, and this girl is on it too.
Oh my God!
Brought her to the first.
Who is on it?
Brought her to the first rehearsal, and visionary director Peter O'Fallon said, "Is that your dog?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "She'll be in the show," and she's in every scene.
Does she play a boy or a girl?
Do I play a boy or a girl?
No, does she?
She plays a girl. She plays herself, and her name is Boo. We're doing like a share thing with her. She plays her own personality. You want to get off? What do you want to do? You want to get off?
Get off? How?
No. Not in a sexual way, you pervert. Common trash.
It's all about the semantics.
It is about semantics. The semantic race was a desert tribe originally. Really? Oh, yes, and all very picky about, like, is that what you mean? Is that what you mean? And all their wars would start. I think they lasted about 20 days. What do you mean by that? And just shut the fuck up. And they disappeared. But the semantics was a very smart group, but that was when they kept correcting each other. You know, semantic Jews. Wow.
Why weren't you on Saturday Night Live from day one?
Well, I'll tell you, I was on Saturday Night Live, and I perform each week. I stand right there to the left of my TV. And I'm on The View every morning, too. I pull my little stool up, and I have my note card, and those bitches don't ever let me get my question. And I'll get them in, but, then they turn my mic off, and the people can't hear them. They don't answer me. But I'm on the show. I'm there every morning. Wow. I sit right by that TV, and I do the sketches. I'll wander in, and I'll do the sketches.
Brilliant. Are people afraid of you and your humor?
I don't think they're afraid of me. I think when I was young, I was very self-conscious because I think this is what happened. My nature was not to. I didn't have an aggressive nature, and I was not competitive. I didn't enjoy sports. I didn't enjoy competitive sports. I liked being an athlete. I liked running. I liked. But I didn't like I like.
Look at you! You're a hunk.
Well, I work out, but I'll spin, but I'm competing with myself. If I'm competing with another person, it hits some part of my brain I don't like, and it drew me towards performing, where the whole day you're working with a person, and if you compete, it's not going to work. You can't. If somebody in the scene is getting the better of you, and it's part of the scene. You have to give that up, and if you're playing it for real, it can feel very. But really, what you're doing is you're dancing, and you get better and better as the scene progresses. And whether it's a play over a series of months, or it's TV and it's over the series of the day, it's exhilarating. But it's a community, and in life, I never enjoyed sports, and I certainly never understood freezing your ass off, sitting there with Coco, and watching little tiny people who are getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars solve a pretend problem. I never ever understood that from day one. My dad took me to a Jets game, and I said, "I got to ask you, sir, what are we doing? This doesn't make any sense." They're having, first of all, can you see any of what's going on down there? They're bumping into each other. It's very important. Clearly it is. So one guy, they're going to get the ball over there a little bit more than the other guys. And then we drive home. What's in it for us? Even at 10, I have more pressing problems.
Yeah, but it's a good way to show your machoism.
I'd rather take, when I was 10, I'd just go to a bar and have a few and take a swing at a guy. Uh-huh. Yeah. I don't have to, I've never
you don't have a limp wrist.
No, I don't have, I'm not, are you asking if I'm gay? No, I'm not gay, but I just don't have a problem.
Are you happy?
I am a happy person, yes. In the 1920s version of the word, I'd say I'm gay. I don't know gay. It's been a heavy year. Can you get that penis-like thing off my chest?
Do you know Gay Hardon?
No, who's that?
There was an actress once, I think.
Gay Harvon?
Hardon.
Well, I'm not comfortable.
Anyway.
Because you'll cut this up and make some weird Brazilian porn movie with a lookalike. Yeah. And and if I make money, that's fine.
This will be straight.
I did do a thing called Bathing with BIERKO. And I have one episode, it was they call it proof of concept. Did you have to do that with this show? Where you do one episode because they're like, well, we like that Barry Z and we think he's funny. And We think it'll be good, but we want to see one just to see for sure. And I went in and I pitched a show, and I said, I'm going to interview stars in a bathtub that's too small for me. So this company called Super Deluxe said, we're going to need a proof of concept. So I went and I got John Malkovich, who, to my astonishment, said, yeah, I'll do it. I said, let me explain it to you again, because when you get there, I want to have explained it again. Right. Wow. He said, okay. I said, we're going to be in the bathtub, and I'm going to interview you for about an hour, and we'll cut it into like 2 minutes. We're going to play it, absolutely for straight, and we're going to live in a universe where instead of the Charlie Rose wooden table, it's a bath. And he went, yeah, I'll do it. I was like, okay. And he came over. He wanted a cup of coffee and a piece of direction. And I said, that's just what I said. It's Charlie Rose. I'm going to ask you questions. We talked about Steppenwolf. And I said, and then I'll get, as bizarre as the questions get, just answer them straight ahead.
You were both naked.
I'm not going to tell you what we really were. But we did one episode, and then and it went over very well. It went viral. I'll send you, if you send me your address, I'll send this to you. It's
we'll show a clip or two, no?
Well, it's 2 minutes. You show a clip, you might as well show the whole damn thing.
Welcome to Bathing with BIERKO, America's most intimate new talk show. This week's guest, John Malkovich.
John, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Somebody told me that as a kid, you were heavier. You were a heavy guy. Was this when you were in high school? Was this as a younger child growing up?
All of the above. When I was a fairly young kid and then well into high school. When I played football, I weighed 230 pounds, which is pretty big.
Yeah.
And then I lost about 60 or 70 pounds in about 3 or 4 months.
How'd you do that?
Eating Jell-O.
You're kidding.
Jell-O. No, not at all. And then after like 3 months, I put some fruit in it, like chopped up a banana or whatever.
John, you've embraced a couple of foreign cultures for a while. You lived in France. Did you live in Portugal for a while, or you?
No, I never lived there. I've worked there a lot, and sometimes travel, go on vacation.
Portugal is one of those words that if I repeat it over and over again, it loses its meaning. Have you ever done that?
No.
Try it. Portugal.
Portugal.
It starts to lose whatever reference you have to it. Starts to go.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or am I?
No, I understand.
Flamingo. What does that do? Say flamingo.
Flamingo.
Portugal.
Flamingo.
Portugal. Flamingo. It's Portugal flamingo. Portugal flamingo.
Yeah.
If you were to work at McDonald's or Burger King or even Wendy's and you were working drive-through, can we sort of like play that through? Like, what can you jump right into that? Hi.
Hello. May I take your order?
Yeah, where am I? Which burger place?
This is McDonald's.
Oh, I love McDonald's. Can I get a Big Mac, a quarter pounder with cheese?
A Big Mac and a quarter pounder with cheese?
Yeah, my wife is here with me.
And would you like fries with that?
Yes. Can I supersize it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And what would you like to drink? Coke, Mountain Dew, iced tea?
Yeah, iced tea. Do you have any like the toys or anything come with it? Like a
Sure.
Okay.
You could have a little what are they called? A McHappy meal?
Yeah, like a McHappy meal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you for your order, and please drive up to the next window, and we'll have your order ready.
Oh,
have a nice day.
Okay, have a nice day. Thank you very much for being here.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Ow.
But
and what is the show called again?
It's called Bathing with BIERKO, and we were set up to begin. There were places that for crying out loud. Lorne Michaels wanted to meet me and said, ultimately he said, "Get this thing off my chest." We talked for about a half an hour, and I realized, he said, first of all, I got cast members going, why am I giving this guy 15 minutes? I said, I didn't expect you were going to put Bathing BIERKO on for every, I came here because I wanted to ask you questions. There was a movie that was released and never released by that company, and I wanted to know. And I spent the entire time asking him about this movie.
What was the name of the movie?
Oh, God, how can I not remember? It was made as though it was a 1940s movie. Bill Murray was in it. Oh. And a guy who used to make their small films. I'm so sorry.
I remember those small films.
But it's really great, and it's about a bus that goes to the moon. It's crazy, and Bill Murray plays the conductor on the bus. it's crazy and it's great, and they didn't release it.
You were in that.
No, I wasn't in it. I was 10, but Belushi was in it. And they got all these great people, and it's weird, and you can find it online. I wish I could remember the name of it. I'll look it up afterwards.
Anyway, let's say we're going to go back to that series. Or was that a play? No. Let's go back to the play.
Bathing with Bierko?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that we can find. You're going to give us a clip of that.
I'll send you a link to it. I took it all off YouTube because we did a second episode with a very famous actor.
Who was it?
And I'm not going to say because I'd like to get him to come back and do it the right way. And it's a learning process. And what I realized was he never took his shirt off. And so it wasn't awkward enough. And we realized, this is the opposite of what we thought. The actor is the straight man, and I'm more of the comic because I'm asking these insane questions. And we had him doing great stuff. He's very, very recognizable, but he was not comfortable taking his shirt off. And his wife and his daughter were in the bathroom going, "Dad, take your shirt off." It was the craziest situation.
Initials?
No, I'm not going to tell you. But he's hilariously funny. And I would like to get him back to do it. But I have people who've expressed...
produce it.
Very big people have expressed, like, if you do it again, please bring me. And I will only do it under proper circumstances. The thing is, it has to be somebody who normally wouldn't do something like that, or it's not funny. It has to be a serious actor like John Malkovich. It has to be... The dream guest is Henry Kissinger. That'll never happen, but,
In the nude, everyone is.
Yeah. And be able to play it as though... Because talk shows are so absurd.
Oh, they are. Let me go back to one thing. That play you did off Broadway with Kelly Ripa's husband, Mark Consuelos, right?
Yes, the girl of my dreams.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you kissed him on stage.
I did kiss him on stage.
Wow.
Yeah, right in the...
What was that like? You're a great man, and you're kissing another man.
If what a gay man would feel like if he was kissing a woman, not correct, But the idea of the show, and I think what we were both committed to was, even though, but kiss like this was to sell, but it didn't look like we were kissing like that because we were getting married in the show. At the end of the show, it was a beautiful scene, and
marriage.
There was a marriage at the end of it. And it wasn't a play; it was a series of vignettes. And we played a couple in a piece that another piece that was written. It was a beautiful, that piece that turned out to be very dark. And one of us, you realize, isn't alive while we're telling it to you because we've been the victim of a gay crime, and that on our wedding night, one of us was killed. So it ends happily. The only other time we do something together, we're a couple that's it's the time for anybody who loves each other should be able to marry, and the fact that we were all straight, it was never advertised that way, but we felt very strong as a cast. And the one place you don't need to sell this play and this idea was the Minetta Lane, right in the heart of what
was the name of the show again?
It was called it was the Gay Marriage Plays, but it had some other title that I can't. For some reason, I can't remember. It was the Gay Marriage Plays, but it was a series of vignettes, and one of the most brilliant, beautiful. Harriet Harris was beautiful. Oh my God, she was so funny. But Richard Thomas, he did the next to last beat. They wanted to end it on an upbeat thing with the marriage, and but the second to last.
Married Richard Harris?
No, not Richard Harris.
I mean, you married
Thomas.
Richard Thomas.
He did a piece.
John Boy.
Yeah. And he did a piece as an older man, eulogizing his lover, and that right before the guy died, they legalized marriage. And he said, "Let's get married." And the guy said, "Fuck no, fuck no, no." It's
How long did it play?
He said, "I resent, He said, "I made it through Nixon." And I made it through, I'm proud of having survived. And then the whole thing was, I'm not going to be able to describe it as beautifully as the writer does, who is Israel.
Israel Horowitz?
No. The other one. I'm so sorry. Because
play a long time?
We played for about 3 or 4 months, and it's the kind of thing that should still be playing. But it's the kind of thing that should be in more liberal areas of the South. where people could see something because they were adventurous, and it would say, "We're all peep. There's no thing to be afraid of. There's no."
We all bleed red, right?
Yes, we all bleed red. We're all these disgusting bags of stew in a dermal pita. That's all we are. It's all it is. Wow. Get that thing off my chest, man.
Was that the first time you played a gay role?
Well, the first time I played a gay role was in college, and I did a play called 5th of July.
Oh yeah.
And there was, but it wasn't. But there was nothing. They indicate that the two characters are gay. They have a quick peck at the beginning that establishes it. But there was really nothing else other than them sitting next to each other or anything like that. But there was a great affection between them. And this play, they didn't want to make any. They wanted to show you that love was love, but there was nobody like making out or like, doing anything carnal together. And I got offered a play a couple of years ago by a prominent playwright I've always wanted to work with, and I called the director. I'm not going to say. Because then somebody else did the part. But I called the playwright and I said, it opens with these two characters making out, which is, I don't understand that, because I'm calling you as a straight guy and I'm an actor and I've played gay, but I don't want to shortchange the audience or the play and make it all about me getting past something that I just don't know that I'm comfortable with. Like, I wouldn't play a guy jumping out of a plane who really had to jump out of a plane, And it's just not. And so and he said, well, it's not quite making out, but it's not a little quick peck either. It's closer to making out. And I said, I think I'm going to give this to the play and just say, You did. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I said, I don't think I don't think I should have to spend more than a certain amount of time getting past something, which could be something like dancing. I'm terrified of dancing. I'm not a good dancer. I have to work twice as hard, 3 times as hard as anybody else.
You haven't been on Dancing with the Stars?
No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do it. I don't deserve. There are so many people who deserve to be on that. Before, I'm not a dancer. Susan Stroman saw the way I moved and said, "I'm going to make you dance, but you're going to have to work really hard." And I did.
This is The Music Man.
And I did, and I did. I've never worked that hard in my life, and I was able to get to a point where, most dancers, professional dancers, can get to after seeing something done once. These guys were amazing, but after 2 months of rehearsal and a little bit of the previews, I finally, in the simple stuff that I had to do, got a little taste of letting go and flying. And I thought, what an amazing experience just for that, of being able to feel like what these guys, now I know why they do it. All that hard work is to get to this feeling of letting go and expressing with a good choreographer like Susan Stroman, to actually be blessed with memories of feeling as though just a taste of what it is to fly. Like somebody lets you pilot a plane for a second. And, it was.
You won a Tony Award, didn't you?
No, I was nominated. I didn't win it. I didn't win it, and I bought. Well, thank you, but I came with my mom, and that was the magic of it. And I knew what I would say if I won, but I didn't expect to win. I didn't expect it, but I knew I had something ready to say about the women in my life, and Rebecca who played Rebecca Luker, my mom, and Susan Stroman.
Now I have a question for you. You're known as the most eligible man in Hollywood or on Broadway, right? Or both?
I don't know if...
East and West Coast. East and West Coast.
Do you think if you asked one person and said, well, who's the most eligible? They might say, who's the oldest, most eligible? And is it because, does he have a problem? I love women. I can, aside from what most people think, I'm very shy when it comes to approaching women, and when I find myself with somebody and I'm in love with them, I'm very passionate, and you only have to make a few turns and go this. There've been times where I've walked away from things, and looking back, I think I'm not so sure I should have.
You said you've walked away from roles before. Was it because you had asexual? Sexual attraction to these women?
No. I would never walk away from a role because I had a sexual attraction to a woman. I'd just go, listen, you know what a dressing room or a trailer is for? You go, and if you're sexually attracted to somebody, you go and you temporarily unicize yourself, and so that there's no honestly, there's no. I've the proverbial the shat where I worked once. It will never ever happen again. It was the least positive experience of my life, and I actually had to sit somebody down and say, because they were upset on stage and brought some of it on stage, and I had to tell them, I'll make you disappear. You can't do that on stage. A little soap opera that we've got going is not interesting to people who are paying $90 to see a story. You ever do that again, and I'm not saying that I'm going to make you disappear. I'm saying, this is a business of reputation.
Were these with men too?
With what?
With people who were coming on to you and wanted to go to bed with you?
No. I've never had that problem. I don't think there's any. I actually went up to a lot of my friends are gay, and a lot of times I'm working in shows. I love gay men. They're the funniest guys in the world. And I went up to one guy. I just love this guy so much, and I said, "How am I doing with the gay?" He goes, "You're doing great. You're doing great." I go, "Would any gay man ever think?" And he goes, "No." I said,
"Who was this man?"
I'm not going to say who it was, but he said, "But he's an excellent dancer. He's maybe not somebody you'd know his name, but he works consistently and and he's a brilliant dancer." And I said, "How do you?" But he's very plugged into that scene. I go, "How can you say that? Why wouldn't anybody?" And because I was a little, why not? He said, "Because there's not one gay man in the world who would leave their house with their hair looking like that." I said, "It's just obvious. Why waste our time?" He was
talking about you at the time, huh?
Yeah, I don't know what it's looking like right now, but usually it looks like my brain's exploding.
Was it TT?
What?
Tommy Tune?
No, it wasn't Tommy Tune. I've never had the pleasure of meeting him.
That's great.
I've never seen him.
Anyway.
Any hoozle.
Go back to then. Christian Chenoweth. What about Christian? You were rumored to having an affair with her, right?
No. If I was ever rumored to having an affair with Kristen Chenoweth, it would have been that's a benefit and it's a feather in my cap, but it never happened. She was somebody that I knew of. It was sort of.
She's like 4 foot tall. No?
She was, if that. She's like a little piece of confetti. She's a piece of confetti that got away and exploded and became Kristen Chenoweth. She's so talented, and she's so beautiful. She's so genuine. And I'd seen her, and I didn't see her in Charlie Brown, but I'd heard how talented she was, and I was trying to get a production going of.
I covered her in that.
You did?
Charlie Brown.
Oh, that must have been annoying for her. Gotta get up off of her. That's not funny. But anyway, I
didn't do too well as far as Hairspray went.
I never saw the production of Hairspray, and I can't imagine.
NBC version that was televised was a real bomb.
I will tell you, well, that doesn't say anything about Kristen Chenoweth. Kristen Chenoweth she can't hold an entire production or can't be responsible for an entire production that maybe shouldn't have been on TV, should be on TV. Anything Kristen Chenoweth does is going to be expertly rehearsed, and she will be prepared, and she will not appear. It's not my instinct. It's why I never do galas or anything like that. Is that I can't look at something and then go out on stage. And
Did you work with Christian?
I worked with her one time where I had gotten the rights to a show called Little Mary Sunshine, which was something I did in high school. And Ellen Burstyn did the original production. So what they need, and Ellen Burstyn used to play. Was it Ellen Burstyn? No, it wasn't Ellen Burstyn. I'm getting the name wrong. It was not Ellen Burstyn. It was she was in Private Benjamin. She played the
older one.
No, the older one.
Oh, it was.
What's her name? And I can't. I'm so sorry that I'm bad with names, but it's more age.
Some kind of stroke or accident.
Our research department. In her day, one of the first things that she did was she played Little Mary Sunshine, and she played it as the way Dean Martin played his character of Dean Martin, which was.
She was also in Chicago.
She played it like slightly drunk. Eileen Brennan. Eileen Brennan made the decision to play, and it was all Nelson Eddy and Jeanette MacDonald. Excellent work. And it was done very straight. But she played it slightly drunk. For no
Did that character come from, what was it, Chicago, the musical? There's a Mary Sunshine in that.
No, this was something quite different. This was a takeoff from the '60s, early '60s, called Little Mary Sunshine, and it was Boynton. Somebody Boynton was the I think the composer and author. But anyway, it was really fun to do, and it was all stout-hearted warriors, and and Canadian Mounties, and Little Mary Sunshine, and the Indians, and it's very, very cute. But we'd become too hip for it to be funny anymore. It was a little too trite. But she was brilliant in it.
She started it with you, no?
Yeah, and I said, "Will you do this with me?" Because we wanted to sell one of the theater companies in town on producing it, and they were they were honest. I've done that a couple of times. One time with Janine, I wanted to do a Christopher Durang play called Laughing Wild, which is one of my very favorite plays, and I actually saw Christopher Durang do it. He said, "You know what? That's an interesting idea. Come to my office and read it." And I said, "Even better, let us get an audience of students together. Come in, we'll put together a reading of it. So come and see it that way. Plus, with laughs and everything, because it's a very funny show." He saw it. He was very kind, and then he wrote us a beautiful letter, and he said, "This is a play about two people who, if they don't make this work, they first meet each other in their dreams. Very strange play, very beautiful play. They meet each other like having nightmares, and it's too. I will belittle it to explain it, but it's beautiful and lyrical. And
did it ever make it?
Yes, it made it off Broadway. Oh well, our production, no. He said, "I don't feel good about it, but you guys are both excellent. You're too young, and even when I did the reading of it, you need to feel like if these people don't make the play is about, we're getting towards the end of an era." This was towards the end of the '90s when he wrote. He said, "We're getting towards the end of an era where if we don't make connections with each other, I think we're all going to fly off into space." And that's what I'm trying to write about. And you're kind of young to be playing that. When you play these parts, I feel like if this doesn't work out, you'll have another chance.
How tall are you, by the way, Chris BIERKO?
Chris BIERKO, who's my brother, I haven't any idea. We haven't spoken or met, nor does he exist. But my name's Craig BIERKO. Thanks for
Did I say Chris?
Oh, Jesus Christ, no. I insist you live that.
Did I announce it correctly when I introduced
My stationery says either Greg or Craig BIERKO, and I'm thinking of adding Chris now. I don't care, because I'll get everything. You know what I'm like on that?
Inheritance-wise.
What?
Inheritance-wise?
Inheritance? I'm talking about fame. I'm that level of fame where I tell people, I can't go to the mall anymore. Because by the time I track everybody, every time I catch everybody and explain who I am, all the stores are closing. So I can't go anymore.
I can't believe I said Craig.
It's Chris.
It's Chris.
No, it's Craig. You're an idiot.
You're right. When it comes to a handsome man like you, we're all idiots. When it comes to Donald Trump, we're all idiots.
Oh, God.
We lose our way when we see a man like that.